Assalamu alaikum students. I am Maqsudur Rahman. I hope you are doing good, and today I am back with another video class for class 4's English Comprehension. And today we are hoping to complete the units 15 and 16. Now I am happy to say that unit 15 is a word hunt which we all enjoy solving, right? And unit 16 is another interesting chapter. So we'll have a look at the word hunt in a second, but before that our main topic for today will be unit 16. Now before talking about unit 16, I will tell you to focus on unit 3 first. If you remember properly, unit 3 was about migration, right? We saw that there were different animals and birds who migrated to different places or to warmer conditions from colder places so that they could survive the winter, right? So if we come to think about it, we will see that nature indeed is amazing, right? So just as migration is this fascinating way of nature to preserve its species or conserve its species, just like that unit 16 is another such process or another such way, right? And it is called hibernation. So just like migration, this is another of nature's process to keep the species alive or keep some species alive. Okay, so let's just have a look at unit 15. Okay, so before we go to the text of unit 16, this is unit 15, the word hunt, quote by Henry G. Stott, and you will have to complete this, right? So I'm hoping you'll have some fun. Now turning to unit 16. Okay, so unit 16, hibernation. Hibernation is one of the main adaptations that allow certain northern animals to survive long, cold winters. So, adaptation means the process of adapting, right? And we can see that hibernation is one of those processes that allow certain northern animals. Northern, that means the more colder parts of the world, right? So, we have this certain over here meaning specific animals to survive those cold winters, right? So that is hibernation. Hibernation is like a very deep sleep that allows animals to save their energy when there is little or no food available. The body functions of true hibernators go through several changes when they are hibernating. So two things to look at over here. We can see what hibernation is. It is like a deep sleep, and also we can see the body functions. The body functions meaning the body activities, right? Also, the term true hibernators is quoted, right? So we will look at what true hibernators are, but meanwhile we can see what hibernation is, and we can see that the body activities go through several changes, right? Body temperature drops and the heart rate slows. For example, a hibernating woodchuck's body temperature drops by more than 30 degrees Celsius and its heart rate slows from 80 to 4 beats per minute. My god, that is amazing, right? So we can see that a hibernating woodchuck's body temperature drops by more than 30 degrees. So imagine the temperature today. It's probably near about 30 degrees Celsius, right? So if we deduct 30 degrees Celsius from today's temperature, we will see or will witness a 0 degree temperature, right? So which will make everything outside freeze. So just imagine a woodchuck's body temperature drops by that much when it is hibernating, right? And also its heart rate, it drops from 80 beats per minute to 4 beats per minute only. So this is truly amazing, right? How the body can change, or how the body can adapt to its surrounding, right? Other true hibernators include the jumping mouse, little brown bat, eastern chipmunk, and several ground squirrels. So these types of animals are the true hibernators. So we can see that the true hibernators are mainly those who are going through major changes, right? Their bodies are going through major changes and they are sleeping for quite a long time. Okay. Other animals such as the skunk and raccoon are not considered true hibernators, as they wake up in the winter to feed and their body functions do not change as much. So these animals, the skunk and the raccoon, they are frequently getting up to feed, right, during winter. So they are not the true hibernators. Since they only sleep for a little bit at a time, the term dormancy or light sleeping is used to describe their behavior. Okay, so they are light sleepers, right? Because they are not constantly sleeping for a long time, or their body functions are not changing that much of the previous animals that we saw, right? That's why they are said to be light sleepers. Now, underline the term dormancy. The word dormant means in a state of sleep, right? So dormancy is something like that. Okay, sleeping state. Okay, the largest animals to hibernate are bears. Interesting. So bears are very large animals and they also hibernate. Their heart rate may slow down from a usual 40 to 50 beats per minute to 8 to 12 beats per minute. But their body temperature changes very little, so they are able to wake up quickly. So just imagine how interesting the nature is, right? So we can see these bears, they are huge animals and they are hibernating as well. But interestingly, their heartbeat rate, this changes from 40 to 50 beats to 8 to 12 beats, right? That is quite a significant change, right? But interestingly, their body temperature does not change much. That is why they easily wake up, right? They can wake up easily. Hibernating animals have a special substance in the blood called hibernation inducement trigger. Okay, so or HIT, right? So we have this thing called HIT. Now what is this? First of all, underline substance. A substance is a type of matter, right? So we have this substance, these animals, the hibernating animals have this substance in the blood and it is called hibernation inducement trigger. So inducement, underline inducement meaning something leading to some other thing, right? So it might mean that an action is leading to, or a cause is leading to another result, right? And trigger meaning something that starts an action, right? So that is HIT. Now what does this do? This substance becomes active in the fall. So it becomes ready, right, in the fall meaning autumn, or the season before winter, right, the season in between summer and winter. So when the days become cooler and shorter, so during fall we can see that the days are becoming cooler and shorter. Just as in winter we have longer nights and shorter days, the in fall that starts to happen, right? When heat becomes, or when HIT becomes active, the animals start preparing for winter. Some animals store food so that they can eat when they wake up, and some animals eat a lot in late summer and fall to add excess fat to their bodies. This fat keeps them warmer and acts as a source of energy while they are sleeping. Some animals also make changes to the places where they will sleep, also called dens. They add leaves and grasses to keep them warm. Okay, so when HIT becomes active, we can see that it is acting like a trigger in the hibernating animals, right? And they automatically start preparing for winter. And there are some ways we can see that there are some ways that they prepare for winter, right? Like they start eating more and make their places of sleeping more comfortable. So before we end, just underline den as well. Den means a home for the animals, right? Or a lair or a cave of some sort, right? Where they stay or where they live. Okay, so students, we can see interestingly that just as we learned about migration, we also are learning about hibernation, and this is another fascinating process of nature itself, right? So before we go through the word meanings and the summary of the chapter, let's just go through the exercises. Okay, so these are the exercises that we have. Answer the following questions. Why do animals hibernate? You will definitely be able to answer that. What changes occur in the functions of an animal's body when it hibernates? So mainly I'll give you a hint. We talked about two things, mainly the temperature and also the heart rate, right? Then why are not raccoons and skunks true hibernators? We saw there was another term used for them that was called light sleeping, right? So it must have to do with that. What is the term used to describe the behavior of raccoons and skunks? Oops, I think I just answered that for you. And what does HIT stand for? We saw that. And when does HIT become active? We also discussed that. How do animals prepare for hibernation? We talked about that in the text. I'll also talk about that in the summary. And then we have there are many words that end with the suffix tion or shun, like hibernation, right? List down 20 such words. Okay, so this you will probably find some in the text, and some you'll need to research for, others you'll know, right? So just make a list of 20 such words. Then for number 9, we have search the web and complete the chart for skunk and raccoon. So this is interesting. Again, you'll have to do some research for this one. You just have to make a table like this and then start or just fill up the empty cells, right? What you need to do is you need to first of all write down how you can separate a raccoon and a skunk figuratively, right? So you must say how they look like or how they are distinguished, and then you have their habitats. So talk about where or write about where they live, their food habits, and some of their special habits, right? Or some traits. So if you search for special habits of raccoons or skunks, you will be able to find such traits of theirs, right? And also, as number 10, I am adding another exercise for you. Now, if you go through the text again, you will see that there are some other animals that we discussed about, like the jumping mouse, the little brown bat, or the eastern chipmunk. So, what I need you to do is, I just need you to research about these animals that we just read about. Okay, these true hibernators and the light sleepers. Okay, so just do that. You'll gather some general knowledge from it, right? I am hoping. So that's all from the exercises section, and let's move forward to the word meanings now. Okay, so quite a few we have found from the unit. Adaptation, certain available function, include, consider, dormancy, substance, inducement, trigger, active, fall, preparing, store, excess, source, and den, right? So most of the word meanings I didn't discuss because I'm pretty sure that you know almost all of them. I have only discussed the ones that are extremely necessary, right? So That's all from the word meaning section. Now let's just go through what we have learned or what we can highlight from the unit. Firstly, we saw hibernation is like a very deep sleep that allows animals to save their energy. Right, so they go through this deep sleep during winter so that they can save their energy. Then we saw this term called true hibernators who witness major changes in their body functions, right? We saw that, and they sleep for long time, right? These animals, the true hibernators, their bodies go through major changes and they sleep for a long time. Then other animals are not considered true hibernators as they do light sleeping. So these animals are not considered true hibernators because they do light sleeping. That's one issue. Also, another major issue is that their body functions do not change as much as the true hibernators, right? So that's another point. Then we saw the largest animals to hibernate are bears, right? Another interesting fact about bears are that during during their hibernation, we saw that their heart rate that drops considerably, but their body temperature does not change that much, right? Allowing them to wake up very quickly from their sleep, right? So that was another interesting fact about the bear. Then we saw hibernating animals have a special substance in the blood called HIT, or hibernation inducement trigger, right? So when finally we saw when HIT becomes active, different animals prepare in different ways for winter. So we saw in fall this hibernation inducement trigger, it becomes active and it acts like a trigger, right? It automatically tells the animals to tells the animals that winter is coming and they need to prepare, right? And so they start acting likewise, and they most animals of different sorts, they start preparing in different ways, right? Like some, they add leaves and grasses in their homes to keep themselves warm, and some they store food so that they can eat. And interestingly, some animals, they start eating a lot more, right? Which induces in them more body fat, or which helps them to gain more body fat, and that keeps them warm during the winter period, right? So that should sum up the unit. So I'll be back with another one, inshallah. So I just need you to finish the exercises properly and go through the text. So that's all for today. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.